This week in gaming history. This week in 1986 saw the release of Outrun on the arcade. September 20th, 1986 to be exact. Developed by Sega AM2 and designed by Yu Suzuki, and what an absolutely brilliant game it is. A 3D third-person racing game. You control the Ferrari Testarossa Spider, and you have to basically get to the checkpoints in time. It's not really a racing game in the strictest sense of the word, because you don't really race anybody. You just have to drive as fast as you can, but that does not stop it from being an absolute brilliant game. You could choose your music to listen to while you drove, and there's even a vinyl version of the soundtrack out now. And it was basically ported to every system under the sun, from the Master System, the Mega Drive, the Spectrum, Commodore 64, you name it, it was out on it. Most recent version, I believe, is the Nintendo 3DS version, which came out last year. And yeah, it's really, really good. Also released this week in 1990 was Wing Commander for the PC. Developed by Origin Systems and directed by Chris Roberts, this was the first in the science fiction space simulation franchise, which will go on to be a more full motion video style game starring the likes of Malcolm McDowell and Mark Hamill. This first one was basically a space combat game, which was basically characterised as World War II in space, with a multinational cast of pilots from the Terran Confederation flying missions against the predatory aggressive Kilrathi, which were a load of cats from what I can remember. So yes, not a bad game at all. The later games I did prefer, but this was when it all started. On this week in 1990. Also this week in 1990, September the 28th to be exact, was Mega Man 3 on the Nintendo Famicom. So of course, being it Japanese, it was called Rockman 3, Dr. Wily no Saigo. The third in the long-running Mega Man series. Excellent, excellent game. Probably one of the best entries in the Mega Man series. Directed by Masayoshi Kurokawa and developed, of course, by the brilliant Capcom. One of the greatest games of all time, and one of the hardest. I am really, really crap at Mega Man games. But there you go, yes, released this week on September 28th, 1990. Skip forward 3 years and we have the release of Sonic the Hedgehog CD for the Mega CD. Arguably the greatest Sonic game of all time. Directed by Naoto Oshimi and of course developed by Sonic Team. Sonic CD had a time travel mechanic which saw you travelling back and forth in time to complete the levels. Up there with Sonic 2 for me. It still keeps the Sonic 2, like Sonic 1, Sonic 2 graphical style, not the changed graphical style from Sonic 3, but well worth a game. So released September the 23rd, 1993 in Japan, Sonic CD.
Sonic the Hedgehog CD from Mega CD. Sega!
Also this week, still in 1993, was the release of Myst, a graphic adventure puzzle video game designed by the brothers Robin and Rand Miller, developed by Cyan and published by Broderbund. It was a phenomenon when it was originally released. It was pretty much just a lot of different still screens with a little bit of FMV and sound effects to get you lost in this world. But it was basically a puzzle game, but a very, very immersive puzzle game as of that. It was ported after its initial release on the Macintosh to the Saturn, PlayStation, 3DO, Windows, Jaguar CD, CDI, PlayStation Portable, Nintendo DS, iOS and OS X, and it's well worth a crack if you've never played it. There was a variety of sequels for Myst, up to 4, I believe, but the first one is the classic of the franchise and well worth your time.
It comes as no surprise that Nintendo's new video game featuring Mario is in major demand. It's the new leader of the video game pack, featuring 64-bit technology that produces
Fast forward
amazing
to
3D
this week in
animation,
1996 and the US release of the almighty Nintendo 64, released with Pilot Wings and Super Mario All-Stars. It has gone down as one of the greatest consoles of all time, and it's very underrated, I find. You'll find a lot of millennials absolutely love this console, as it was the console of their childhood. Looking back at it now, yes, the graphics haven't held up that well, but again, there's so many great games for the Nintendo 64, and this week saw the American release way back 20 years ago in 1996.
Hello? Hello? Do you want me to show you?
But
And last but not least, this week in 1997 saw the release on the PlayStation of Oddworld, Abe's Oddysee, which was the first in the Oddworld series. It was released on the PlayStation and also DOS and Microsoft Windows in America, Australia and Europe. And basically you play as Abe, as you basically have to escape this factory that you work in. Rupture Farms meat processing factory. But he discovers that basically his race are being slaughtered to be made into pies. And yeah, you don't really want that. It was the first in the series of Oddworld games. After it was Abe's Exodus, Munch's Odyssey, Stranger's Wrath, and the remake New and Tasty, which was released in 2014 as well, which is well worth getting if you haven't got the PlayStation to play it on. But yeah, there it was, released on this week in 1997 as Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. Thank you for tuning in, and we shall be back next week with more This Week in Video Gaming History. Goodbye, good luck, and good riddance.
Late one night at Rupture Farms. We used to make meat munchies. Until the meaches were through.